I'm Geeta Gandhi Kingdon. I'm an education economist. I work as a professor at the University College London, which is a university in the United Kingdom. Where I hold the chair of Economics of Education and International Development. Today I'm very happy to be talking to you about the phenomenon of private schooling in India. Although we call them private schools, in fact there are two types of private schools in the country. One are the so-called private aided schools, and the other are the so-called private unaided school. Now, although they share the word private, they are in fact fundamentally very different kinds of schools. So it's very important to understand the distinction between the private aided and the private unaided schools. Private aided schools are those that receive government grant and aid, and the meaning of this is very considerable because government pays its own teachers in the government schools at particular given rates that are bureaucratically determined. Aided school teachers also get exactly the same salary scales, same emoluments, same benefits, and they get it directly from the government treasury. Moreover, aided schools teachers are selected through a government appointed Education Service Commission, and in each state there is an Education Service Commission that is constituted, and that selects teachers for government schools as well as for aided schools. So in that sense, the aided school managements, although de jure, that means by law, they are the managers of their schools, in fact they have virtually no power, they have no autonomy in running their schools. Not only do they not pay their teachers, the government directly pays their teachers, they also cannot set any fee levels different to what the government allows. Now, since the fee in government schools is tuition fee is zero, it's nil in every single part of the country. For all the way from grade 1 to grade 12, education is tuition fee free. In government schools, that is exactly the same in aided schools as well. So therefore, they differ fundamentally from the private unaided schools, because private unaided schools run entirely on fee revenue that the parents pay to them. Moreover, private schools managements, private unaided schools managements are free to determine to recruit their own teachers. They are not recruited by they do not have any government involvement in the appointment of teachers in private unaided schools. So I think that these are the major reasons that these two kinds of schools differ. They are paid, the private unaided school teachers are paid by their managements, and they are free to determine the salary levels. There are by and large no strictures, no government rules for what salary shall be paid to the teachers in private unaided schools. From time to time some strictures have been put, but when the idea has been tried in courts, the courts have ruled. Just to cite one example, the TMA Pi versus the state of Karnataka case that came up before the Supreme Court, and in which the Supreme Court, an 11-judge bench of the Supreme Court of India finally gave its ruling in 2002. The judgment said that the essence of a private school is the autonomy that it must have in its management and administration. So basically, they said that this autonomy includes the appointment of teachers, the recruitment of students, the salary to be paid, and the fee to be charged from the students. So these are in other words, in virtually every way, the so-called private aided schools are like government schools, despite the fact that by law they are still deemed to be the schools of the private managements that originally gave their land and their buildings to establish the school. And this state of affairs happened because in the late 1960s, early 1970s, the teachers of aided schools protested massively in most of the states of India, saying that the government gives grant and aid to our managers, which they are meant to pay to us, but managers shortchange us and they don't give all the benefits to us that the government, and in any case we want to be treated like government servants. We want to be paid like them. We want to have emoluments and leave rules and gratuity and pension rules and all of the benefits just like government school teachers have. And because they went on massive strikes and jail bharo andolans and pen down strikes and examination boycott strikes and courting arrest thousands of teachers, not keeping the schools open for 45 days, 60 days at a stretch. And state governments conceded their demands, and state after state passed, they enacted laws such as the Direct Payment Agreement in Kerala in 1972, the Salary Disbursement Act in Uttar Pradesh in 1971, and so on in other states as well, which basically brought aided school teachers under the aided schools rather under the direct management of the government, to the precise extent that from that point onwards the salaries of aided school teachers were no longer paid as grant and aid to the school manager. They started to be paid directly into the bank accounts of the teachers, just as straight from the government treasury, just as from the government treasury the government school teachers are also paid directly into their bank accounts. So that was a massive step of centralization by bringing these so-called private aided schools under the enactment. It was, some people have said, that was only a little short of nationalizing the so-called private aided schools. Private unaided schools are autonomous by and large, and they are in a very different category therefore. Today I shall be talking about the private unaided schools rather than the aided schools.